Welcome to episode 34 of the tutorial series Livewire 3 from scratch. My name is William Juma. In this episode, I want us to learn how to toggle between the light mode and the dark mode in our Livewire application. And of course, what we are using is Bootstrap. So basically, that is what we are going to work with. So let me go and show you the layout file. That is what I want us to open, and we are going to do some work on that layout file. So I'm going to open resources and then views and then components, then layouts. Now, for us to be able to implement dark mode, in this case, of course, whatever is that we are having is light mode. If we intend to have dark mode, we can be able to modify something on the HTML tag above here. So let me just scroll and show you. So here where we have HTML is something we can be able to attach here, and then to be able to handle for us the dark mode. So in this case, just to show an example, I'm going to have data hyphen bs hyphen theme like that. And then if I set it to dark, I want you to see what's going to happen. And I have opened just any component because we have created so many components in the course of this tutorial. So I have opened one of the components which you are working on, and it was called products. Now you can see when I just refresh, we have the dark mode. And then of course, if I go back and change and have light like that and save, again, if I refresh, now we have the light mode. So basically, that is what we will be modifying. So we will be changing from light to dark, dark to light when somebody toggles a switch. So in this navigation bar is where I'm going to put the switch, because the navigation bar spans all components that we have. So it can be a very good place of us putting our switch. And I'm not going to do a lot of styling. I'm just going to put a switch here, maybe somewhere here, and then we will continue like that. So now I want us to be able to begin with that switch, and then we will come back to this app.blade a little bit or a little while later. So let us open the, in this case, layouts. I mean, not layouts now. We are going to open the folder Livewire. And then I'm intending to look for navigation. So navbar, this one we created a long time ago, and it is what I want us to work on. So what I'm going to do immediately after we have the 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 list, I want us to just have a button here which I'm going to just copy a bootstrap switch. So I'm going to go to getbootstrap.com, and then under checkboxes, I'm just going to search for switch like that. You search it and then scroll downwards and see if we have it. It's not even here. So let us go to, I think, checkbox, because the switch is a special type of checkbox. And then we see how we can be able to work with that one. But if we are not able to find it, maybe I will just go ahead and just type checkbox. I think it's under form. Yes, checks and radius. That is the place where we find it. So now I want us to scroll downwards. As you can see, we are having a switch here. And maybe I want to pick this second one. This one here is what I want to pick. And I'm going to paste it anywhere here. So I can even paste it under the unordered list. I'm going to have it here like that. So it will just appear as one of the items in our navigation bar, so something of this sort. So this is what we are going to have. And I want to give it a wire model. So in this case, we are going to have wire model inside the input. So we're going to have wire model, and I'm going to set it to a property called mode, like that. And then for the text that we are having here for switching the text, the switch, I want us to have some text here, which in this case will be, I want to set it to a property type. So in this case, either light or dark. So basically that is what we're going to have. So if we switch, we're going to go from light to dark, from dark to light, something of that sort. Then probably I can be able to remove the checked here. I want us to go to the Livewire class. So we are going to open the file and then scroll upwards to where we have the Livewire class. So Livewire, and then we are going to open navigation bar. So navbar, like that. And so here, of course, we only have render, and then that is it, because we were not having any properties in our navbar. So I want us to create the properties that I've just mentioned. So in this case, we have mode. So we have public mode. We need to, yes, we need to have the $ mode. And I'm going to set this to false, false, like that. So in other words, the radio should be, in this case, off, not on, or something of that sort. And then I'm also going to pass in the value. In this case, we called it public, we called it type. Forgive my poor choice of words. This one I'm going to call light, like that. And then so you give that a value that way. So if we are to check again and refresh, now our toggle switch is off, like that. But I want us to be able to notice it when it is switched on, and then we can be able to perform some few changes. Of course, if we want to do that, there are several ways in which we can be able to do it. But in our previous episode, we did use the updated hook. So that is what I would like us to use even now. So let me just go to navbar.blade, and then in our wire model for our switch, I just want to add .live, such that the changes .live, I'm putting a comma, I do not know why, .live, such that the changes will be noticed in our updated hook. So let us go back to our Livewire class, and then we are going to have the updated hook, and then we will be able to listen to the immediate changes that are taking place, and then we can continue like that. So what I want us to do is have a function here. And in this case, our function, we are going to just call it updated, and then we can be able to pass in front of it our mode. So in this case, it will be updated mode, like that, and that will be able to listen to changes on that property. So now, as we have it, if I am to change, we can be able to try and say dd. Of course, there is nothing that it will be able to do for us. dd this hyphen mode, like that, and then we can close that way. Let me attempt. I know it's not going to amount to anything, but let us attempt and see. So we are refreshing. It's taking a bit of a while. It means maybe we have a problem somewhere, or what? Updated mode. Let's give it some time for it to load. And now it's loaded. So if I click here, Now you can see it's saying true, so it's okay. It's actually doing something. And when we set it like that, again it goes to true. So from false to true or something of that sort. So now after that, I just want, whenever we have the change here, I want to be able to do something. I want us to be able to maybe change the title, because already currently you can see it is light. So I want us to see how we can be able to change it, that it can also be able to capture dark. So in that one, we are just going to work with it like this. So in this case, we can say if I want to attempt and try this mode, and then we can be able to have else like that. So this one here, I want to dd dark. In this case, if it is set to true, and here I want to dd light. Let us see if it works, and then we see what we can be able to do. So I'm going to refresh. Now I'm going to set it to that, and now it's dark, and I'm going to toggle again, and it's doing nothing on the other. When we switch it off, when it is off, it does nothing. So in other words, it's not triggering the else. But I think that is good enough. So what I'm going to do is that we are going to, and in this case, for the light one, it's actually just returning our property to wherever it is that it was. So for this one, I want us to have this type will be given by dark, like that. And this, yes, I need to close this with semicolon, like that. And since this other one is not being triggered, we can remove it entirely, and just say now the other option, which is now having it to be light. Or maybe I can just say if this mode, and then yeah, I think we can even be able to just toggle it here. I can say this, so whatever value that was there initially, so you can say this mode, and then will be the opposite of, so in other words, you just be toggling it. So again, this, sorry, it's supposed to be beginning with a property, this mode, like that. So we can have it like that, and then now we can be able to check. So if this mode, then we can have the type as dark, and then else we can have the type as light. So here we can have this value, this type is light, like that. So something of that sort. So let me attempt and see if it is able to change whatever it is that we want it to do. So currently it's set to light. If I click, it's now dark. If I click, it's now changing to light. I think it's behaving perfectly the way I want it to behave here. And now once we are done with this, I want us to now dispatch an event. Actually, after performing all this, down here is where I want us to dispatch an event. We are going to say this dispatch, and then we will dispatch an event which is called change hyphen theme, like that. That is the event that we are going to listen to and be able to do our manipulations. Now, for us to be able to listen to events entirely, in this case, in the whole of our application, the best place to be able to do those, to be able to listen to these events is in our layouts, because this layout file spans all the it spans all the components in this case. So basically, that is what we have. And remember, we will be targeting to change the value here. That is actually what we'll be doing, as I showed you in the first instance. So now I want us to scroll downwards. And then I want us, after this script tag, I want us to have another script tag whereby we are going to listen to the events that are fired. So here is where we are going to listen to these events. And what we are going to have is we are going to listen to the events in the following manner. So what we are going to have here is window. There is a way in which we are listening to events inside the components, and we cannot be able to do that. So there is a slight modification. So you're going to have add event listener, and then we can be able to listen to our specific event. So our event is a change hyphen theme. I think that is what we have written there. We are going to pass in our event, and then of course using the arrow function, we can be able to have the curly braces afterwards like that. And inside here is where we are going to put our code. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have an if function. So in this case, we can have if document dot document element document element dot get attribute so document element dot get attribute, and in this case we are targeting a specific attribute here, and our attribute is what we have here, what I typed here above here sometime. So data bs theme. So I'm going to copy it, and then that is what we are going to paste here. So that is the attribute, and then we are checking if this attribute is dark, like that. And then inside this function now, we can be able to now set an attribute. So we are going to say document dot set attribute document dot document element the same way. So document dot document element, like that, dot set attribute, and in this case we can be able to now have, and this one I think I have made a mistake here. I'm supposed to have it in quotation marks, like that. So here we are setting the attribute to, we are setting a value to this data bs, I mean data hyphen, sorry, data hyphen bs theme. So this value, we are setting a value that is light. So in other words, we are checking if the current attribute is dark. and we have been able to emit this event. We just want to change it to the opposite color, which is now light. Okay, and then we are going to have else, and now this one will be now the reverse of this, because now we are only having two modes, either dark or light. So if it's not dark, then it means it is light. So for this one, I'm just going to copy what we have here. Again, we can say document element dot set attribute, but in this case we want it to be dark, like that. So if everything works for us, then we will be able to have hacked this thing. Sometimes you can be able to have local storage and be able to store some of these values, such that a user can be able to set the value once, and then for the entire time that they'll be visiting your application, you can just be able to be checking the local storage in their machine and seeing which mode they prefer, and then be able to render that one. But this one will be changing every single time on the fly. So let us attempt and see. So when I click here, now you can see it's dark mode. When I click again, now you can see it's light mode. And I think once we have been able to see that it works perfectly the way it's working, that is the end of this tutorial episode. I ask that if you have not subscribed to my channel, that you may go ahead and give a subscription. And also, if you like the video, you can give it a thumbs up, you can share, you can also comment in the comment section below. Thank you very, very much.